India Today accesses Kejriwal's diet. Aloo fruit chart in Chief Minister's diet. Enforcement Directorate says Chief Minister's binging on sweets just for bail.
The diet chart had mangoes and sweets. We replaced for the court. Regularly consuming sweet food, those foods which is not permitted.
BJP jibes, first sharab, now sugar घोटाला.
शराब घोटाले के बाद अब शुगर घोटाला. अरविंद केजरीवाल जी का एक घोटाला और सामने आया. जिनको ये चीजें कभी नहीं खानी चाहिए, वो ऐसा इसलिए कर रहे थे ताकि उनकी शुगर लेवल बढ़ जाए और इस तरह से करके मैनिपुलेट करके वो जेल से बाहर आए.
Sugar rush or bail rush? The big focus on 5 Live. When news gets into the realms of the absurd, that's what we're talking about here. I'm going to get straight into it. But first, as always, here on 5 Live, the headlines. Ram Navami Bengal war continues. Mamata Banerjee blames BJP for clashes, calls the violence pre-planned. Congress MP Adhir Ranjan meets victims. BJP claims Mamata is playing divide and rule. Congress versus left mudslinging in Kerala. Kerala Chief Minister targets Rahul Gandhi again. Says CPM doesn't need Congress certificate to speak out against the BJP. Claims the Congress has given the BJP a walkover in different parts of the country. Remember, the Congress and the left are allies at the national level. Battle for Karnataka intensifies. Former Chief Minister Kumaraswamy speaks exclusively to India Today's Rajdeep. Calls alliance with Congress a mistake. Says there's no future for the Siddaramaiah government.
People's decision is different now. They wanted the alliance in Karnataka. Voters are wanted alliance with BJP.
Big war over Chhattisgarh Naxal encounter. Congress Neta calls Naxals martyrs, kicks up a storm. BJP hits out, says Congress mocking democracy.
मुझे लगता है इसकी बिल्कुल गहन जांच होनी चाहिए और उन सब लोग जो शहीद हुए, हमारे सुरक्षाकर्मी भी कुछ घायल हुए, उन सबको हमारी संवेदनाएं हैं और इसमें कोई राजनीति का सवाल नहीं.
Enforcement Directorate heat on actor Shilpa Shetty and husband Raj Kundra in a 7,000 crore rupee Bitcoin Ponzi scam. ED attaches the actor and her husband's properties worth 98 crore rupees, including their home in Juhu. Too much sugar is always bad for you, but it looks like for the Delhi Chief Minister, at least allegedly by the Enforcement Directorate, sugar seems to be the way he wants to get out of jail. Well, remember, trouble continues for the Delhi Chief Minister. He continues to be at Delhi's Tihar jail, but the Enforcement Directorate has a perplexing allegation to make. They've told court that Arvind Kejriwal is binging on sweets, mangoes and other high sugar items specifically in order to get his blood sugar up, so it shows up in reports and he can use that to justify getting medical bail from Tihar jail. Remember, he's been in jail for the last few weeks in the excise policy scam known as Liquorgate. Well, the Enforcement Directorate has accused Kejriwal of deliberately asking for and consuming food that is high in sugar as a bid to create a health situation where he can request bail on medical grounds. Remember that Arvind Kejriwal is a diabetic. It's a sensitive matter. It's related to health. So we don't want to treat this issue lightly. The allegations are grave. India Today has accessed a copy of Arvind Kejriwal's diet chart in Tihar jail. The Delhi Chief Minister, according to this chart, has been consuming potatoes and sugary fruits like mangoes in jail. Remember, Arvind Kejriwal, like I said, is diabetic, leading the Enforcement Directorate to question whether Kejriwal is deliberately consuming foods that he wouldn't normally consume given his diabetic status in order to somehow create a health situation and sugar levels that will then come up in reports and justify a request for medical bail. The BJP has, of course, pounced on the opportunity to target the Delhi Chief Minister over this special diet in jail, saying after Sharab Ghotala, it is now sugar ghotala. So after liquor scam, it's now a sugar scam, says the BJP.
Diet chart has been placed before the court. The diet chart had mangoes and sweets. We placed before the court. Regularly consuming sweet foods, which is not permitted for any diabetes patient. I don't want to make any further comments. Matter is pending before the court.
यही वजह शुगर बढ़ने की.
They have withdrawn, but the person is in court's custody, and it is the duty of the court to take care to ensure that they are not being a hazard to themselves.
त्यार जैसे रिपोर्ट भी मंगाई सर.
Yes.
कब पेश करनी सर?
No further comments. कल के लिए लगा. Thank you.
This is an issue made by ED so that there is home cooked food also should be stopped. This concerns the health. We are very concerned, and whatever he is taking is as per the doctor's prescription. Otherwise, the matter is sub judice. We don't want.
Sir,
to
ED's counsel was saying that he is having mango sweets and tea with sugar in the prison. Is that correct?
Whatever he is having is as per the doctor's prescribed diet.
ईडी का सनसनीखेज खुलासा सामने आता है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी जेल में जानबूझकर मीठी चीजें खा रहे हैं, आम खा रहे हैं, तली चीजें खा रहे हैं. वो ऐसा इसलिए कर रहे थे ताकि उनकी शुगर लेवल बढ़ जाए और इस तरह से करके मैनिपुलेट करके वो जेल से बाहर आए. अरविंद केजरीवाल एक सिटिंग चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं और अपने आप को ईमानदार बताते हैं, लेकिन इस हद तक क्रिमिनल माइंडेड हैं कि जेल से बाहर निकलने के लिए ऐसे वो घोटाले कर रहे हैं.
Now remember, this is a very serious issue. We're talking about somebody's health, so I don't want to be, allow any flippant politics to enter the discussion here. But to give our viewers information, because they are based on what the Enforcement Directorate has said in court in this serious case, here's what that diet chart actually looks like. Here's what Arvind Kejriwal's jail, nutrition plan actually looks like. Breakfast includes 4 eggs, 2 bananas, mixed fruits and fruit chaat. Lunch is aloo gobi, aloo matar, 2 bananas, fruits, mangoes, mixed fruits and 1 sweet dish. Dinner is banana, sweet dish, aloo, beans, puri, milk powder, laddu and fruit chaat. These are dishes apparently appearing quite frequently in Kejriwal's meal plan. Now I want to bring in 2 of our reporters who've been tracking this story pretty closely from 2 different perspectives. Munish Pandey tracks the investigation, what the Enforcement Directorate has been alleging, but I also have Sneha Murdani with me. She covers health for us, she tracks health, and she understands a thing or two about why the Enforcement Directorate is making these allegations and how consuming things like a lot of mangoes or a lot of sweets, could in some way create a kind of situation where medical bail could be applied for. Munish, coming to you first, the Enforcement Directorate, I want to get this story right. The Enforcement Directorate is basically alleging that Arvind Kejriwal is conspicuously consuming high sugar foods like mangoes, etc., which he would not normally consume given his status as a diabetic, in order to hike his blood sugar level so that he can apply for medical bail. Is that right?
Very true, Shiv. As far as Enforcement Directorate is concerned, what they have hinted today and what they are indicating is that there is a deliberate attempt by Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, and that is why he is eating those type of diet which is not good for his health as far as diabetes is concerned, and it involves a lot of bananas, mangoes, fruit chaat, and also aloo, puri and all these things. So what they are alleging at this point of time is that Arvind Kejriwal is deliberately eating this so that when once the sugar level is of that level where he can apply for medical bail, then the court can grant him bail. And earlier in such cases, Shiv, what we have seen, for example, in case of Satyendra Jain also, he was granted bail on medical condition. It was an interim bail. So ED at this point of time, there are 2 important points. One, they are indicating that this is a deliberate attempt by Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, and second, it also indicates that ED is planning to keep Arvind Kejriwal in jail for a longer time.
Okay, very interesting. Sneha, I want to bring you in. First of all, we still don't know what Arvind Kejriwal's current health status is. But, politicians, it appears, will do anything to get their way. But isn't this dangerous, for a diabetic to be consuming mangoes and sugary items? I understand that it is to try and, clear the decks for medical bail, etc. But how do these foods work?
Very, very dangerous, I would say, because Arvind Kejriwal is not moderately diabetic. He's heavily diabetic, is what has always been said. And he's been diabetic since he was young. So even at the time of the Andolan, Shiv, you had covered it. You'd remember that a lot was spoken about the fact that he's very diabetic and that fasting isn't something that is good for him, given that he's got diabetes and he needs to be regularly on his medications. A lot of chatter around his diabetes, even in the year 2009 and 10, when he wasn't the chief minister, when the Andolan was on. Essentially, these food items will spike your sugar levels instantly. And that is something that a diabetic wouldn't want.
Yeah.
Sugar, starchy items, I would say. I'm pretty surprised looking at how he's also consuming starch-rich items like high on GI, like idlis and upma, for example. So these are food items that we usually don't speak about. But since we're talking about health, these items also have high GI index, have high GI. And G index. So also, apart from the fruits, which have to be consumed in moderation and with a lot of care, it seems that he's consuming them pretty regularly. Not just that, sweets and namkeens, again, processed foods that we've been talking about, including the mithais that he's been consuming, are high on GI. So these are items that ideally, as a diabetic, he should have avoided.
Okay, and I'm just wondering, Munish, in jail, given that Arvind Kejriwal is severely diabetic, as Sneha pointed out, wouldn't there be some kind of monitoring at the jail level or the doctors in Tihar level to ensure that Arvind Kejriwal is not, I'm not saying impose on him, but, restricting him from eating things that are dangerous to his health? Isn't there some kind of monitoring?
Well, Shiv, there is monitoring, but as per the court direction, Arvind Kejriwal is consuming food made at home, which means that someone is bringing food before the jail authorities and the same food is being given to Arvind Kejriwal. There is a panel of doctors which is monitoring Arvind Kejriwal's health, his diabetes, blood sugar, his blood pressure, everything is taken thrice a day.
Yeah.
So they are doing everything they can at this point of time because the onus is on the jail authorities if something happens to his health. But at this point of time, if the food is left for Tihar jail to prepare and the same food can be given to Arvind Kejriwal, then there can be certain type of restrictions on what he can eat and what he cannot eat. But once when the food is coming from his home,
yes,
then the jail authorities can't do much about it.
Okay, so there's a loophole that you're mentioning there. Sneha, final question then. You've explained that these are dangerous foods for a diabetic, and I'm sure Arvind Kejriwal, since he's been a diabetic for a very long time, is aware of these things. If this allegation by the Enforcement Directorate is borne out and seen to be true, but if you could just explain to us, because India is, if I'm not mistaken, the diabetes capital of the world. What are the risks of eating foods like this? What could happen to a diabetic if they consumed foods like these?
So, Shiv, right from the point that his sugar levels can go dangerously high up, there can be a chance of a seizure, he can collapse. I mean, extremely uncontrolled diabetes is also related to strokes. There have been instances of that as well. By and large, it could lead to further health problems. Like I said, there could be seizures as well. If his sugar level spikes up to that extent, general feeling of unwell, if your sugar level is beyond the regulated measure, beyond the limit, essentially, it could lead to repercussions. And I think if this is true, if what the ED is saying in court is true, then it's a cause of worry, because this isn't just about getting bail on medical grounds. This is about creating future problems for somebody who's diabetic. So to answer that question, seizures possible, the patient collapsing, very, very possible. It's also in fact linked to other problems. It could be causing a stroke as well, like uncontrolled blood pressure, uncontrolled diabetes also leads to like cascading sort of an effect.
Okay, very, very troubling what the possible effects of these things are. Remember that the lawyer for Arvind Kejriwal has said that the Delhi Chief Minister is only consuming what the doctor has permitted or advised him to consume. The ED says it is not the case. He is deliberately doing this in order to justify a case for requesting medical bail. We'll try and get more information on this. The investigation continues, the politics continues, but there can be no two ways about all of us wishing Arvind Kejriwal the best of health with his diabetes.